Hi, my friends. Welcome back, and thanks for joining your girl Anna B for another episode Behind the Walls. I wanted to first and foremost shout out to the BTW channel members: Deb's daughter, Riri004, Danielle Moore, Juanita Henry, Stephanie, Sharif, Neva Kelly, Hubba Bubba Lisa, and Vanessa B. I greatly appreciate your subscriptions and support for your girl, as well as all of our subscribers, our new subscribers, day ones, and in between. All of you all that consistently watch your girl, jump in those comment sections, and give me suggestions and bring up new cases. Christopher O's, our Vegas friend, thank you for all of the super chats and monetary gifts on all of the videos that I've recently posted. Jessica, that's big sis. Thank you for the support on the channel and even behind the scenes personally. I greatly appreciate you all. Mel, all of you all, Key, all of y'all, Gigi that was on the live. I mean, I don't like to say names because I hate to forget anybody, but I love you all and I thank you so very much for the consistent, continued support for your girl. We back with another one, and as you see, we are still in Ohio, but I am working on a California video in behind the scenes. But like I told y'all, California does not give the mugshots online on their DOC website, so I can't give no updates on no cases without y'all seeing what these people looking like, especially if they've been locked up for a long time. So just be patient with me. Cali is coming, I promise you. I just got through going through the investigative report that I received via a FOIA request from Cleveland Police. I didn't took both of my sons to the dentist this week, so I don't think we're going to go live this week, but definitely next week we will. So keep those notifications on. Check our community in my post. I'll let you know when we're going to go live to go through those reports. Now, we are about to fall into Ohio again. This is life without parole and life sentences combined. Let's get into it.
Calm down. Stop.
Tristan E. Baker is serving a term of life without parole for fatally gunning down Jayla Wyatt on April 27, 2021. Patrick Downs called the police after he returned home and found Jayla lying on the ground. She had been shot multiple times, and there were 6 9mm shell casings located at the scene. Patrick told police he believed Kristen Baker, his ex-girlfriend, had shot Jayla. Kristen was later identified as Tristan E. Baker. Patrick told police that before the shooting occurred, he was told that Tristan was outside of his apartment building. He went outside, the two had a conversation in his car, and then she left. He further explained that he had been gone for about 45 minutes when he received a call from a man named Michael, telling him that Jayla was dead in his apartment. Tristan and Jayla had a verbal altercation within the past week and were in the midst of a feud. Just the day before the shooting, Tristan had come to his apartment causing a disturbance and even broke a window before she left. The prosecutor assigned to the case said that Tristan was upset with Jayla for no good reason at all and planned to kill her. She got a gun from Devin McNeely, her new boyfriend. They drove to the apartment in downtown Zanesville. Tristan stalked Jayla, sneaking around the building for hours until Patrick left the apartment. She snuck up to the apartment, opened the door, and executed Jayla, shooting her in the hip and continued to fire until she fell to the ground, and then shot her in the face. It took less than 24 hours for police to locate and arrest Tristany and Devin. Now, they said Tristany was jealous of Jayla, who had not long started living with Patrick. Tristany's roommate told police that she came home bragging about shooting Jayla. And while in jail, Tristany found entertainment in picking on a person with mental health problems and was heard on a jail call asking where she could get a Justice for Jayla shirt that Jayla's family wore in the courtroom. She was also heard saying that she would kill again and just not get caught. Her childhood is the only thing that saved her from the death penalty. She entered prison on July 13th, 2021, and is currently housed at the Dayton Correctional Institution. Devin McNeely pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. His first parole hearing will be held in March of 2041. He's at the Mansfield Correctional Institution. Both Tristany and Devin had no success in their appeals. Jayla leaves behind 2 children and a grieving family. May she rest in peace. Just like Tristany, to escape the death penalty, Katrina Culberson took a plea in the case of the gruesome death of 29-year-old Celeste Fronsman, who she claimed was her best friend. Celeste was found burned and crying in agony all alone in the middle of an eastern Ohio road on August 26, 2012. Celeste's hair was completely gone and her skin was either falling off or just hanging on to her body. The 911 caller, a man named Mark, was on his way home from running an errand when he spotted what at first he thought was a deer. Then the figure rose from the road and approached his truck. Mark realized it was a person. "Help me, they're trying to kill me," Celeste cried. Mark immediately called 911.
Where are you from?
911, your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. I have a woman right here. She's burnt severely. She's been beat up, and she's in the middle of Keys Road and Steel Hill Road in Muskingum County.
Okay, she's just in the middle of the road.
Yes, ma'am. I got her laying here on the grass. Seriously burnt. We need medics.
Do you know what she was, did she say how she was burnt or anything?
Yeah, she got a rope around her neck. She's totally without clothes, and she's severely burned.
Okay, can she tell you who she is or anything at all?
Yes, she can, but I can barely understand her.
Oh, but you're actually on Keys Road, though, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm right.
About how far off of?
Right on the road.
I'm sorry?
I'm right on the road.
Okay, but from Dresden-Adamsville Road, how far up Keys Road are you?
I am. I just left Adamsville. From Adamsville to Dresden.
Okay.
I'm on 208.
Okay, but you're on Keys Road just off of 208, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm right here. I'm parked right in the middle of the road.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll get some people right up there for you, okay?
Absolutely. Please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Investigators later determined that Celeste had traveled a third of a mile from the spot where she was choked, assaulted, soaked with gasoline, and set on fire. Celeste was able to speak despite her severe injuries. And when Mark asked her who had done this to her, she responded, Katrina Culberson, Fonz, Dixon, and Washington. Mark wrote Katrina's name down and gave it to the police when they arrived. Celeste had 3rd and 4th degree burns covering 70% of her body. She was transported to Wexner Medical Center at Ohio State University and treated in the burn unit. Upon Dr. Larry Jones's initial examination of Celeste's injuries, he knew that she wouldn't make it. Doctors were able to resuscitate Celeste until family members could arrive, but further treatment would not be successful. Celeste was ultimately removed from a ventilator and died of her injuries. The cause of death was determined to be complications of partial and full thickness burns to 70% of her total body area. Mark had also asked Celeste where she was from. She told him Canton. So detectives made their way to Canton to find out who killed Celeste.
I went to law enforcement agencies and Ohio to do their work, to get the person that did this to my daughter.
Katrina, also known as KC on the streets, was a drug-addicted prostitute. Katrina was also known to control other prostitutes. She set them up on dates using the website called Backpage. She would at times do dates with them and take a portion of the money that they earned. She was known to use violence and intimidation to control other working women. One of those women she controlled was Celeste Fronsman. The women were also reportedly lovers up until August 2012. Their relationship was violent, mostly coming from Katrina, and she encouraged Celeste's drug use, crack cocaine specifically, which was being provided by Katrina's boyfriend, LaFonz Dixon, also known as Fonz. Katrina spent her days hanging around drug houses, smoking crack, and turning tricks. One of the drug houses where she hung at and where Fonz sold out of was located at 502 Gilmore Avenue in Canton, also known as a flop house. 2 weeks before Celeste was murdered, police raided the Gilmore flop house. Fonz just so happened to ride past while the raid was in progress. He called Katrina and warned her to stay away. This led Katrina and Fonz to believe that Celeste was the reason why the house got raided. They thought she had snitched to the police and was also snitching on other people. She also owed Katrina money at the time. This is when the couple began plotting to end Celeste's life. Katrina telling Fonz that she knew of a secluded area near Zanesville where no one would find Celeste. So for several weeks before she was murdered, Celeste was being chased and terrorized by the pair. One day, Katrina picked Celeste up and took her to the home of somebody named Old Hooker Alice, where Katrina screamed at Celeste, accusing her of snitching. Celeste denied it. Next, they went to the home of a man named Ralph. Fonz joined them there. When Katrina left, Celeste escaped, running to Ralph's neighbor's home. She burst inside screaming that people were after her and she needed help. The neighbor, who didn't know Celeste at all, gave her a ride. As they were leaving, Celeste told the neighbor that the people that were after her were over there, pointing at his neighbor's home. Katrina and Fonz spotted them. They got in their car and followed them. They cut them off, got out, and walked up. The neighbor then put the van in reverse and took off. Celeste and Fonz followed them again, bumping his van with their car. The neighbor drove straight to the police station. Once at the station, the neighbor told the police officer what had happened. And surprisingly, the officer fussed at Celeste for involving the neighbor in her drama and made her get out of the van. The neighbor later saw a newspaper article about the murder of Celeste and recognized her, as well as Fonz, as being the black man that got out of the car and approached his van. Katrina, Fonz, and another woman also went to Celeste's father's house looking for her as well. She wasn't there though. On August 26, 2012, in the early morning hours, Katrina went to buy crack at a home of a man named Bobby. Monica Washington was there, another known prostitute. She was asleep on the couch. Katrina woke Monica up with a kiss on her forehead and invited her to ride around and smoke some crack. And of course, Monica accepted. As they were riding, Katrina driving a Tahoe owned by another one of her boyfriends, Monica on the passenger side spotted Celeste driving her father's Dodge truck with a man inside. Monica pointed Celeste out to Katrina. They chased her to a Walmart parking lot. Katrina tells her about a $900 date that they could do together. Katrina gets into the truck with Celeste and tells Monica to meet them at a McDonald's and to activate the child locks on the back doors. At McDonald's, Katrina tells the man that was riding with Celeste to get lost. Celeste parks her father's truck and gets into the Tahoe with Katrina and Monica. Katrina calls Fonz discreetly and tells him that they're on their way. As they're riding, Katrina tells Monica that Celeste had sex with her man, and Monica began to hit Celeste. They pick Fonz up, who gets into the back seat. Katrina still driving and Monica still in the passenger seat when Fonz begins hitting Celeste in her head and face. The attack continued as they drove around Canton. Her hands were bound at some point with a black belt and masking tape. They reached the circle place Katrina knew of, but it wasn't secluded enough, so they drove around to another spot. Fonz told Katrina to get a can of gas from the back of the Tahoe. She poured the gas over Celeste and set her on fire. Leaving Celeste behind, Katrina, Monica, and Fonz drove back to Canton and returned the Tahoe to its owner. The women went to the home of another one of Katrina's boyfriends, showered, and smoked crack. Their bloody clothes were disposed of in a dumpster. 3 days later, Katrina was arrested on an outstanding warrant. LaFonz and Monica were eventually brought in for questioning. After telling multiple lies and attempting to minimize her role in Celeste's murder, Katrina was the first to sign a deal with the state less than a month later. She entered pleas of guilty to aggravated murder, kidnapping, and aggravated arson. In exchange for her truthful testimony, the state recommended a sentence of life without parole. Monica also pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and aggravated arson. She was offered life with parole after serving 25 years. Both women would later testify at LaFonz's trial. He maintained that he was with his family and not involved with Celeste's murder. The jury found him guilty on all charges. He, too, was sentenced to life without parole. Celeste heroically crawled over a mile through the woods, battered and bruised, and survived long enough to tell who had done this to her. Regardless of her lifestyle, she or no one else deserves to die like this. May she rest in peace. In the early morning hours of July 29, 2022, 21-year-old China Shepard was shot and killed in the bathroom of the Oasis Lounge in Akron. Court records say after Gladys Ingersoll shot China after they had a physical altercation, she fled, running down the street on foot. A witness followed her and pointed her out to the police. When they arrived, Gladys, still toting that gun, refused to comply with the commands of the Akron police officers. Officers witnessed what appeared to be Gladys raising her arm in a shooting manner, leading one officer to shoot her in her leg and abdomen. Gladys was arrested, treated for her injuries at a local hospital, and once released on August 23, 2022, she was transferred to the Summit County Jail and ultimately indicted for the aggravated murder of China, as well as felonious assault. During her trial, which commenced in January 2025, prosecutors said that Gladys, who was 24 by the time the case made it to the courtroom, shot China after they argued twice and briefly fought over a guy they once knew. In his opening statement, Assistant Summit County Prosecutor Charles Roman said that Gladys had waited in the restroom of the bar for China and shot her point blank. That night, the two 21-year-olds crossed paths. Both had graduated from the same high school. China, who had just gotten a new car, was out with a friend enjoying themselves. The three women wound up in the bathroom together talking about school. Gladys then joined them at a table where they continued to talk. The prosecutor told the jury that China and Gladys went to the bathroom again, where they got into an argument after a boy they both knew from school was brought up. The prosecutor said that Gladys and China got in a bit of a tussle where hair was pulled. The friend broke them up and Gladys left. The friend also tried to get China to leave the bar, but she had no luck. Gladys returns to the bar with a gun. All three women are back inside the Oasis Lounge, where China's friend Armante says Gladys is just standing there, staring at China. She tried diffusing the situation, but couldn't break the stare down between the two young women. China got a phone call, so she went to the bathroom so that she could hear. Gladys, too, makes her way to the bathroom. After China was off her phone call, Gladys is just standing there, and she threatens China, starting an even more aggressive altercation, pulling China's hair, punching her. Then Armante hears a pop. China says, "She just shot me." At that point, Gladys takes a run for it and ends up shot herself.
I'm on the sidewalk. No. There she is. She's under the subway. Show me your hands! Show me your hands!
Gladys took the stand in her defense and told a different story. She claimed self-defense. She testified that China started the first fight. The second fight, she claimed China dragged her into a stall and started to punch her. She pulled her gun, aimed it between her legs, and fired one shot while protecting her head and looking away, she said. That shot grazed her in the butt. China Shepard died around 4 a.m. the morning of July 30th at the Cleveland Clinic, Akron General Hospital. On January 14, 2025, the jury returned 2 guilty verdicts on murder and obstructing official business. Each conviction carried an additional 3 years apiece for gun specifications. Gladys is serving 21 years to life in prison at the Ohio Reformatory for Women, where she's been since February 4th, 2025. Her first shot at freedom will come in 2045. China was described as the life of the party, sweet and had a special patience with kids. At the time of her tragic, untimely death, she worked at Akron General Hospital as a senior tech. Both of these young, beautiful women had their entire lives ahead of them, and China's was cut short for absolutely no reason at all. I send many condolences to her family, and may China Marnasia Shepard rest in peace. A cold case comes to an end after Georgia and Ohio authorities team up to arrest 49-year-old Zena Roberson in Rome, Georgia on August 15, 2013. In 1987, May Florence was found by family members, stabbed in her apartment on the north side of Franklin County. May's family urged police to reopen their investigation into their loved one's brutal death. On June 26, 1987, May's brother and sister-in-law went to her home to pick her up for a day of shopping. Instead of being greeted by his beloved sister, Alonzo heard screaming. As he's about to kick in the door, a woman runs out covered in blood. He was able to hold her down briefly, but this woman had broke free and fled. May was clinging to life inside. She had been stabbed, beaten, and strangled. She stayed alive long enough to tell her brother and sister-in-law that she did not know who this woman was. Immediately, police began investigating, beginning with searching May's home, collecting all the evidence they thought the killer had touched. The murder weapon, a steak knife, was collected as well, but there were no fingerprints. Police did find a partial bloody print on one of the walls, which they believed came from the suspect. A few weeks later, police received an anonymous tip from a man who claimed that a woman named Danita had confessed to the murder. Danita was brought in for questioning. Her fingerprints were collected and compared to that of the partial print that was found in May's home, but it wasn't a match, and Danita was released. Leads became few, and the case eventually went cold. May's family wouldn't give up, though. They continued to check in periodically with the police to see if any new tips or leads had come about. And then in 2011, a new, confident detective took the family's call, telling the family that she would reopen the investigation and re-examine the evidence. With technology advancing by then, the detective found a full fingerprint on a mayonnaise jar that was taken from May's home back in 1987. Now it was time to match that fingerprint. The first task was locating the informant who said his name was Odell. When Odell was actually located and questioned, he denied ever giving the police any tips. The tip was recorded back in '87, and the tape was played for Odell.
The person that did the crime.
Okay. Do you know her name?
Yeah.
Anita Campbell. The night that happened, I was over to some friends. I was them that she stabbed the lady. She stabbed the lady in the neck.
When I heard her talking about it, and then she had scratches on her hands and stuff, you know, I guess when somebody had been grabbing her, and she had a couple bruises on her arm.
Do you want to give us your name at this time?
No, not really. Okay, my name is Odell. Odell.
He was adamant that that wasn't his voice. He thought it was his cousin Chris's voice. Odell didn't know how to read or write back then. He had his cousin Chris filling out an unemployment application for him, suspecting that this is how Chris would have had his information and posed as him to the police. Of course, the police tracked Chris down. He told the police that he had given the tip and that the information he provided back then was not true. But he was finally ready to be honest after holding on to a secret for 24 years. Chris explained that on the day of the murder, he had met with Zena and she admitted to killing Anna May. Zena had been going around the neighborhood trying to collect money to pay off debts to local drug dealers. Desperate and seeing Anna alone in the house, Zena saw what she thought was an easy opportunity. So she entered Anna May's house intending to steal money, but things quickly escalated when Miss Anna May fought back. She brought out a knife, but Zena ended up getting a hold of that knife, using it to kill her. Zena had kept a low profile since the murder, only catching one shoplifting charge back in 1999. But with help from the community, police located Zena, and they traveled to Rome, Georgia to conduct an interview. When detectives showed up at Zena's front door, she was obviously nervous. Sweating coming from every pore, one detective said. Zena was taken in for questioning down in Georgia. She denied knowing Anna May or ever being in her apartment. Police knew that was a lie because they had already confirmed her fingerprint matched not one but two separate fingerprints from the crime scene. Zena was arrested and extradited back to Ohio. She was later indicted on August 21st, 2013 for aggravated murder. A year later, Zena finally admitted her guilt by pleading guilty to the lesser offense of murder.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could bring her back. I'm so sorry. To violently kill a senior citizen is just so reprehensible.
She was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. 61-year-old Zena Roberson is housed at the Dayton Correctional Institution. A parole hearing will be held in April 2029. Anna May Florence was born in Alabama in 1907. She was raised and survived a time that was marked by racial segregation. And for her to be killed by a black woman, a drug-addicted black woman in her own home, for me is just tragic and shameful. The pain of losing Miss Anna May still weighs heavy in the hearts of her nieces and nephews.
I had part of the responsibility to go back to that apartment where she was killed, to clean up that mess, and to get that stuff out. And I am still wounded. She just wasn't somebody you just threw away. She was somebody to care about.
So much pain, you know, and it's like...
May Miss Anna May Florence forever rest in peace.